Yes, and we are live. What is going on, everyone? It is TJ and Francis Jackson
And Chewy.
and Chewy in the background. We got a golden doodle,
Mini golden doodle.
mini golden doodle, roaming around in the background. In case you want to know what kind of dog that was. But yes, it is TJ and Francis, husband and wife duo.
That be us.
That's us coming at you live on Wednesday. For another live Q&A. We just got back from a mini staycation where what happened, Francis?
We enjoyed ourselves.
A little too much.
I don't know if it was too much, but the scale's telling us, okay, it's time to get back.
The scale's telling us, or the scale is telling you?
Both of us.
Both of us. She is correct. We both gained a little bit of weight, but
we did.
Especially I'm supposed to be really disciplined right now. But it's just too relaxing, and you only live once. So every now and then you have to have those cheat moments, which I did. And now I'm back on it, although I just had a turkey sub with some chips. And I didn't get the sugar drink, though. Well, that's one of my main things.
And I was waiting for you to eat.
It's all about water, you guys. But yes, we are back at it. Focused? Are you focused? Because this is what it's interesting, especially, and maybe as a woman, you could speak to the other women who are watching this, and us guys can just watch and learn. But you marked a number in your head, and whenever you hit that number, you go,
oh, I went over that number.
Oh,
I went over that number.
So then what happens when you hit that number?
Okay, so that number used to be,
thank you, Carrie.
I don't even think it really matters, though. The number on the scale, it's all in how you feel. Mm-hmm. So if I'm anywhere probably above 133, 135, I'm not feeling good.
Okay, but there's a certain number you hit
that I said I would never get to again.
Did you get to it?
No.
But you're close.
Half a pound away.
Okay, so what's going to happen when you get there?
I hope I don't get there.
So for
Hi,
you,
Serena.
This number is the stopping point where you have to get on your game.
This is the number where it's like, okay, Francis, you need to get back at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know. I don't really have that number.
Hey, Jody.
I'm still in the losing. What's going on, Jody? I'm still in the losing of the weight portion of establishing myself and establishing my new self to have that number in mind. So it's still a little early for me. With that said, though, you guys, I think everyone knows what this is. This is a regular Q&A where we answer your questions and just talk about current events, talk about our life, talking about our goals, talking about everything, answering your questions. If you have questions, we'll give you the best advice we possibly can. That doesn't mean it's the perfect advice. Doesn't mean it's the one you should take to the bank all the time, but it's our advice.
It's what works for us.
That is true. We have Nona from Ireland who says, "Happy birthday, TJ." Well, thank you. Not my birthday yet, but almost. Just a couple of days away. Wishing you both joy and love. Your Uncle Michael's always in my prayers, and all the family of the world misses a very special person. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Nona.
for that, Nona.
Melly says, "Hey, TJ and Francis, just want to send all my love to the both of you, and I can't wait for your birthday to come. Sending you a big hug to both of you. Love you too so much."
Thank you, Melly.
We love you too, Melly. We have Mandria. Hi, Mandria. It's a fresh face, fresh name, Mandria. I should say. That's a beautiful name.
Or maybe it's M. Andrea.
Could be. That's good. And then we have Harmonia, who says, "Hi, Franny and TJ."
Oh, yeah, Harmonia.
We have Lamont, who says, "Hey, King TJ and Queen Franny J, what do you think your lives will be like in a parallel universe?" I don't really... A parallel universe is what? Because maybe that's the thing. Is a parallel universe like at a different time period?
Time is what I'm thinking. It's like, so your life is here, and then it's...
I don't know. I'm not Lamont. I'm not the best when it comes to this stuff. That's probably why I'm not the best with like sci-fi movies and all that, because I get lost. I have to focus on what's going on now. My mind can't go to something that's not real, or at least that we don't know about. Oh, go ahead, Franny. The multi-universe.
Is it a multi-universe?
What is a parallel universe theory?
The theory is...
Okay, let's see what this is. Parallel universe often refers to parallel universes in fiction, a self-contained separate world universe, or reality coexisting. That's where it loses me. Coexisting with the real world, which is used as a recurring plot point. So it's basically the Marvel, like Doctor Strange stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Spider-Man, maybe. He has a normal life, and then on the
no,
other side, he's Spidey. No,
that's different.
that's different.
That's different. That's being
A superhero.
yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm getting lost. Audrey says bonjour, merveilleux famille. Something like that. That's my French for you guys. Little Chance says, hi, TJ and Franny. How are you keeping cool from the heat, and happy early birthday? So thank you so much, Lala Chan, for the birthday wish. And this is the first couple of days it's been ridiculously hot in SoCal.
And we haven't been here in we kind of went on a little staycation.
So we got great weather. We were right on the water.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And now we're feeling the heat a bit. I think it's in the mid 90s today. And the next couple days are going to be in the hundreds. So we're finally getting our heat. We can't complain because a lot of places in the States have already gotten their big heat or have already started their summer. So there's no complaining here. We're just going to be inside. Although Didi has a tennis match, we're going to be inside and chilling with the AC and probably watch our Mission Impossibles. We're still on number 3. Mission Impossible 7 came out today. So my goal is to watch one a day until my birthday, which is 4 more days.
We've been struggling with that.
And then on my birthday, go and watch the Mission Impossible.
What's happened with
in
that?
The theaters. With what do you mean?
Mission Impossible, watching it one every day.
That's the goal. I've been tired. I've been falling asleep. But tonight we'll finish number 3. Tomorrow we'll do 4. The next day we'll do 5. And then Sunday we'll do
how many nights in
6.
a row? 4 nights in a row we've been trying to watch.
Yeah, I've been tired.
TJ falls asleep right away.
I'm tired. I'm sorry, you guys. Carrie says, hi, TJ and Francis. TJ, what are your plans for your birthday? And how do you feel about turning 45? Love you. Well,
oh, yeah.
Love you too, Carrie.
Going to be 45.
Yeah, I don't feel any different. I truly don't. I already feel like I'm 45. Mid 40s, 44, 45, 46. It's all the same to me. I would like to say, though, I feel like I'm getting a grasp on life in a better way.
You're going to get even better?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I feel like I've slowed down mentally, which is a wonderful thing. It just feels good. I just feel like everything's going in slower motion mentally. I know time seems like it's going faster, but when I think about things and the way I process things, I feel like it's slowing down. Not to a point where it's a negative thing, but when it's a good thing. So my plans for my birthday, Francis, do we have any plans? So,
we did,
but I want to chill. I don't want it to be a stressful, busy travel day. We were going to go to possibly San Diego because my father, I assume my brother and my uncles are performing in San Diego, which isn't too far away from us, but just the whole road trip aspect, I just don't know if I want to do that on my birthday. So we may just keep it a simple day. Do maybe like a massage or what is it called? A treatment day? Spa treatment day?
Yeah, spa day.
A spa day, see a movie, do a lunch, and call it quits. So that by 4:30 I'm home and doing whatever I want to do. That seems more fun for me to be honest.
Sounds
like I hate to say it like that.
That sounds like a TJ day.
It does, and I like those days. Diana Ross says, as you get older, you really appreciate things more. Older and wiser. That is true. That is very, very true.
I agree with that.
We have Sierra who says, hey, family, sending love from Indiana. Nice, Sierra.
Hey, Sierra.
So cool. I wonder what part of Indiana you're at, Sierra. Sabina says, hi, TJ and Francis. I'm in the early stages of going plant-based to deal with inflammation. How do you feel about food as medicine? Greetings from Germany. Franny, you want to take this one?
Greetings back to you, Sabina. I think that's a great place to start. Food and exercise. They say it's the best medicine that your body can have. And that if we all did that more often, we would have less inflammation and less illnesses. So
you like this idea?
Yeah, I'm reading that book you got me. I don't know if you got it for me or for us, but longevity. And it's actually really interesting. I don't think I've gotten to the best part yet.
How many pages are you in?
Probably 75.
And what's the biggest lesson or takeaway you've gotten
Well,
from
right
it?
now it's very science based.
Technical. You did say that.
Yeah, it's very technical right now.
But
So
you're learning about the importance of exercise.
exercise over everything.
And yesterday, while we were laying at the pool, Francis told me something very interesting.
I don't
Very
remember
interesting.
what it was.
No, it was about the people who were over 100 years old who were still doing smoking.
Drinking.
They were drinking.
That's in the book, but they were saying, they're doing a study. What is it based on? That maybe their lives were just really happy and they were happy people by nature. So they say that contributes to longevity as well. How happy are you? So that it all kind of makes sense. They say that stress is one of the worst things for your mind and body.
So how do we, and this is for you guys too, how do we make sure we don't stress out? I mean, obviously, one of the most stressful things, at least for Americans, I think, is going to be financial, economic, right?
But they say that exercise is the number one medicine for stress.
Wow.
And depression.
So exercise is crucial. And then it's not only good for your stress and mind and all that, but it's good for your muscles, joints, and all of that. So, what's interesting? I think we did ourselves a disservice by kind of correlating exercise with weight loss. And I think we need to really just focus on food for weight loss and exercise for wellness.
Mental stability. I think it's really important.
Nevertheless, Sabina.
And sunshine.
Nevertheless, Sabina, proud of you.
That's great.
Do the best you can. If you fall, if you don't succeed, don't beat yourself up. But I'm hoping all works well for you and your inflammation.
Let us know how it goes, though, Sabina.
Ingrid says, "Hi, TJ and Francis. I finally the Wednesday evening free to catch up on your live Q&A. Hope you guys are doing well. P.S. It's evening in Norway, and happy early birthday, TJ. Thank you so much, Ingrid.
Welcome, Ingrid.
Ingrid, what is Francis? I don't know if you'll know this, but Norway is one of the best places to see that phenomenon that happens every year. And
what is it? I don't remember.
Something with Norway? The star. Yeah, something with the stars. I think Norway and Alaska is a good spot, but Norway's like the best place, I think, in the world to see it. And when I said I didn't even know about it like 5 years ago, I really didn't. David, I think, was the first one to tell me about it. People think I'm crazy, so I don't know.
That's interesting.
By the way, Sierra's from Fort Wayne. I've never been to Fort Wayne. I don't think
I've heard of it.
2 hours from Indianapolis. So cool. So cool. Lamont says, like the Flash, he can run fast in the multi-universe where he can travel to another Earth and see different versions of him. That's what the parallel universe means. Lamont, did you like the Flash? I wanted to go see the movie, but I feel like the superheroes, the Marvel movies, DC, it's overloaded, and it's I haven't been able to catch up, and I'm scared that I'm losing interest in it. So I'm trying to find that movie that gets me back into it, because I did enjoy all the comic and superheroes.
There's going to come one.
But I wonder if Flash is it. I've heard Flash is really good. Isabel says, "Hey, TJ, and hope you'll have a wonderful birthday. Hi, Fran, you look very pretty today.
Thank you.
I have one for you. I remember the first time I saw you. You were kind of shy. What made you open up to us? Love you both." I assume she's talking about you.
I don't know. Is she talking about you?
No, I think it's for you.
You were never shy?
I was, but I don't think I was too shy.
Oh.
Yeah. So what made you open up to everyone out there? Because you were very shy.
I was very shy.
So what do you think it is?
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I just wanted to be myself and, I don't know, contribute in a positive way. Really. But that's what I've always done, though. Even with the boot camp, it was like a therapy session for my clients. It was great.
All right. Lena wants to know, well, the big question is, did Rio clean his room and did Mom help?
Lena, we're working on that. So we got back pretty late last night. So Rio is still working on cleaning up his Legos. I kind of feel like he might do half.
Okay, so this is what happened. Just a couple nights ago, I went to tuck Rio in, and if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see the photo, which Francis saw a couple days later or the next day and wasn't too happy
I
with.
didn't know until you mentioned it in our live.
I also tweeted the picture, but it was probably the messiest bedroom I've seen, and Rio was just chilling in bed watching Up,
I feel like your room was like that when you were younger.
the Disney movie, and I swear I think it was the dirtiest room I've seen. And I told him he's got to clean the room up, but it would have taken him hours to do. And we had an early morning, so I didn't tell him he needed to do it then. But I told him he's not getting his iPad back until his room is clean. So this is our first day back. He woke up about 35 minutes ago, came downstairs, and we just told him, look, we got a live stream, so this is probably a good time to spend the hour to start cleaning up your room. And so far, seems like that's what he's doing because it's pretty quiet up there. Anything else you want to add, Franny J?
That's pretty much it.
That's
I'm
the
not
update.
happy about it. I can't believe.
Are you
TJ
going to help him?
You know, let me ask you this. After taking the picture, you came to bed.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't mention anything about his room.
No, I'm not going to give you that stress.
Is that why you didn't tell me?
Why would I tell you? It's not going to change anything, just stress you out. Right? And yes, Tori, I think it is the Northern Lights in Norway. I think that's what it is. But yeah, I'm not going to stress you out. Nothing you can do. It's his responsibility to clean it. No, don't stress you out. No, I'm not in that business. You're my wife. We just talked about the importance of stress. Why would I bring more stress onto you? Nah. Of reducing stress, by the way. Belen says, Hola, Franny and TJ. What advice would you give to the parents of teenagers who don't know how to control the rebellion? Besos.
Besos back, Belen.
This is a tricky one for multiple reasons, but Franny, I'm going to let you answer it first.
Look, this is a difficult one because the old Franny would have been like, not happening. I still feel like to this day, Lexi hasn't been disrespectful toward us.
Mm-hmm.
She's never verbally yelled or just been disrespectful. She's always been very respectful. I think that it's important to tell the kids that, look, they can express their opinion, but in a respectful way. You don't have to give attitude, yell and scream. And first of all, I would not allow that. Mm. I don't see any of our kids doing that.
Honey, what's the advice you'd give to a parent?
I would it starts young. It starts young, teaching them respect very early on.
Okay, so let's say they've missed out on those opportunities and now they are dealing with the rebellious teen.
I would sit down with them and tell them, look, I respect your opinion. Your opinion does matter, but you need to do it in a respectful way. And the other thing is that I feel like a lot of times, we're not perfect. I feel like we start to come down to our kids' level. So yelling and screaming back at them is really going to solve nothing.
So that's great advice. And what I would add to it is just to have a talk. What I would do, Belen, let's just say it was a friend of yours that has the rebellious teenagers. I think you got to just be there to support your friend, because they're going through it as well. No one likes to deal with rebellious kids, not even those who quote unquote deserve it. So I just think being there for your friend and just reminding them that, love, because I do believe love will win out.
Yeah.
They're rebellious, and some teens are incredibly rebellious, but they oftentimes will come back if you just give them love and let them know that it's a safe place. So don't judge, don't overjudge. Parenting's not easy, and dealing with teens is not easy. So don't overjudge. Just be there. In case it was your friend, just be there for that friend and just support them as they go through this tough time. But like Franny said, I think the advice would have been to make sure they're being respectful from the beginning. Mm-hmm. No slamming doors, no
it starts
manners.
When they're young, 2 years old.
All that stuff is very important, because by the time they get to a teenage years, if that's already out of them, they won't tend to do it nearly as much. Yeah, Storyteller says, this is a very good question. Thank you, Belen. My son is turning 15 today.
Ooh, happy birthday to your son.
Yeah, that is. Happy birthday. But another thing I will say is kids have up and downs, and we can't really understand and relate our kids sure we were all kids at one point, and we can always say that, when we were young, we couldn't do this and that. And there's a lot of truth to that. But at the same time, the world does change. The world moves. They're dealing with different types of stressors and inputs and have different sets of outputs than we did. So we can't necessarily just compare our lives and our youth to theirs. It doesn't mean you can't be hard on them. It doesn't mean you can't discipline them, but you have to be respectful that you can't assume that they're going to just walk down the same path you did.
Right. And we were all teenagers once. We weren't really allowed to disrespect our parents in any way. Look, we set the rules very young. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Sarah says, honestly, it's the kids who have been raised under rigid rules that are sometimes the most rebellious. Make sure your kids know they can speak to you about anything, much like Gigi says. That is true. I mean, I went to, there's, that idea that, kids in these religious schools are sometimes the ones that are the most out of control if they're too strict. But what I will say is, and to add to Sarah's point, the relationship between parent and child is the most important thing. We were at a pool at the hotel yesterday, and there was a girl who was probably 14, 15, and the mother and me and Francis were talking about, we were eavesdropping a bit. Well, we're not eavesdropping.
I like to people watch.
We'll be at the pool, and Franny will just be people watching, eating her food, and I'll just be watching her and say, "You're really happy." She's like, "I could do this all day." And it's pretty funny to watch. But anyway, the person next to us, their daughter, maybe 14, 15, and maybe 15, right? And the mother was talking about, oh, you don't want to go on the slides. Are we too cool for this? And the daughter was just smiling. It was a really sweet exchange between mother and daughter. And Francis and I were saying how it's really cool to see that, because there was a lot of respect and honesty, and the daughter just took it, and it seemed like they had a very close relationship.
And the daughter was saying, I feel silly at this age going down a slide.
Yeah. And the mom
was like, well, maybe when some of your cousins get here, maybe you can ask them. She's like, yeah, if they bring it up. So she was a bit embarrassed. She felt like she was too old for that.
But the mother said something about, oh, we're too cool for this now. She said something which I appreciate. And the daughter just smiled about it.
Yeah.
Like she acknowledged it.
And I was telling him how I love that my girls will come to me, even with the most embarrassing things, and they'll open up. And I think that's very important to have that when they're young, and know that they have a safe place to come to. I forgot who said that, but I think the comment before this one.
Paulette says, I agree with Francis. Teach your kid at a young age. Respect you when they get older. Yeah. Maggie says, in my opinion, he's 8 years old. If he made the mess, he should clean it. If he doesn't know where to put things, he can ask for help. But other than that, Maggie wants some cleaning.
I agree, but it's just not going to get done properly.
Yeah, Franny always talks about that, like, because the kitchen, or even in the putting away dishes and stuff, I wish that she would let the girls do more of that, but she gets frustrated because it's not done properly.
Oh, they've been doing it since the summer started, though. They have more time on their hands.
I don't want to say always done it, but they've been doing it. But I wish they would do it more now. I wish it was all on them and not on Franny J.
Yeah, but I got to do something.
Well, okay. The point of the matter is, I agree with you, Maggie, that we got to make sure our kids are doing it. They may not do it as well as they can, but the process starts with them just doing it.
Well, we don't clean their rooms. We do not go in there and touch their rooms. That's for them to do.
Camila says, TJ and Francis, if your house is clean and tidy, you are more happy. To clean is therapy to me.
That is true for me.
You feel it's therapeutic?
Cleaning? Oh my goodness, yes. Especially if I'm upset at you.
Mm-hmm.
You see closets being cleaned out, you better watch out. If I'm organizing something, you might want to be careful. Tread lightly, because that's I put all my energy into that, and it has a great outcome. So for me, it's about control. Like, I can't control what's happening right now or in that moment with you and your reaction to things, but I can control how, I don't know, the pantry looks, or you know what I mean? So it's healthy therapy.
Okay. Richard says kids today are spoiled. I wasn't spoiled growing up in the 80s, 90s. I think they are more spoiled than what we grew up with, Richard.
They definitely
I don't think
are.
anyone would disagree with that. It's challenging too when you grow up in a structured, strict way of living to see kids, even sometimes your own, kind of be a little loose or not care about things. It's tough. But the challenging thing, Richard, is that a lot of the peers and a lot of our society has gotten so loose and relaxed that now if you keep the same firmness that we grew up in, you become a whole different thing to them in their eyes.
It's very true.
And sure, you can try to outmuscle that and you may succeed temporarily, but it's going to come at a cost more times than not.
Definitely.
So it's one of those things where, I mean, trust me, with experience, we've learned and we've tried many different methods. And it's a lot of it may be fatigue. We're tired.
Oh, yeah.
No, neglecting that, but at the same
I think
time,
we're more mature too, and we've grown.
The same time, it's one of those things where we're trying to get our kids to develop from internally the pros of and to learn themselves why they're doing certain things instead of just reacting to what they're told and being expected to do. I hope that makes sense. Now, that doesn't mean they could just do whatever. It doesn't mean that, but we're trying our hardest to make sure our kids internally have the motives and the desires to do things they're supposed to do without it coming from the external reasoning, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Does that make sense, Francis?
I think so.
You
for
understood
the most
me.
Part. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm getting a little tired. Sierra says, I got spanked when I was a younger kid. I don't know if anybody else has that story. A lot of us do, Sierra.
Girl.
I don't have kids, but I wouldn't spank most likely.
Hey, I got switched. So Rio and JoJo were talking about Rio. I think he said, "Do you know what a switch is?" or something like that.
Rio said that?
Yeah. And we just had a conversation in the car, and he thought it was the thing you play.
Oh,
the switch. And Joe's like, no. It's something when you get in trouble, people had to go out there and, grab it from a tree branch. We had to do that. And my mom wanted us to leave 2 little leaves at the end of the switch.
Why?
Because it stung more.
Well, we talked about this. I don't understand how a leaf can hurt.
Let me get it and I'll show you.
You can show me.
I'll do it to you one day.
Tonight.
How about that? Okay.
Tonight.
I don't know if we have
Brandon's
those kind of trees. Anyways,
Francis,
I think we were a lot of us were spanked.
How can a leaf hurt? I don't understand that.
TJ.
I got.
It's the.
Okay, I'm not gonna put anyone on blast, but I did get spankings. Okay, but I don't think I got spanked by something from the outside. I didn't get a switch. I know my dad experienced that, and you have. But I don't understand why getting a leaf can hurt more. But
I will show you.
All right.
I will show you. It stings way more.
Elle says, if we didn't do the chores correctly, we would have to do it again until it was acceptable. You learn by doing or doing it again. That is true. That is true. Teresa says, I remember when I would half clean, my dad would wait until I was asleep in bed and he'd wake me to do it over. It only took a couple of times to learn to do it right the first time. That's pretty interesting.
You know what, Teresa? I've thought about that. I came down. The girls were like, yeah, Mom, we're going to do it. I come down and the dishes are still in the sink. I was like, I should just go do what my mama used to do and kick the bed and be like, get up and go do those dishes. But I didn't.
Why not? Why don't you?
Because I don't think it's that serious.
It's not that serious?
No.
But what if they never...
No. Our kids are pretty good with that. So.
Okay.
Honestly, look, we have a method. Joe puts away because Joe's tidy and likes things to be put where they belong. Dee Dee, when she puts things away, she just throws it anywhere. She does it like this guy. So the rule is Dee Dee puts in the dishes, Joe takes them out.
Here's the interesting thing, and Omizel would agree with this. Like, you may say I just put it anywhere, but there's a rhyme and a purpose of why I'm putting something.
No,
it may not jive with what you think of where it should go, but if I think it should go there, so
no.
It's always been my issue with the subject of English and writing and literature. It's like, I can interpret this story however I want.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think I don't know.
TJ, the Tupperware goes with the Tupperware. You would be like, well, it's a cabinet, it's a bowl. I just put it in. No, there is no rhyme and reason for that kind of stuff for you. Other stuff, yes.
The thing
Keep
is,
it. Oh, that's
keep it
right.
PG, TJ. This is a family show. I love it. TJ might like the switch. You never. No, I'm not gonna like
That
the
thing
switch.
hurts.
It hurts, Francis.
Allie wants to say, TJ, be prepared. She taught me how to spank.
You taught Allie how to spank, Francis?
Ooh, Allie's daughter was something, though.
Really?
We all know we love her now, though. She's such a sweetheart. But when I first met Allie, our daughters were the same age. I think Savannah's 2 weeks older than Lexi.
Mm-hmm.
And this child was out of control. Like, and Allie's like, well, yeah, I don't believe in spankers. I was like, good. Well, whatever. Franny, don't be telling on the man. So anyway, her daughter had a fit in a store in Walmart one night. And I was like, well, how, I was thinking, how is Allie going to handle this?
So were you with Allie?
We were together.
Okay. So you're in a Walmart. And
her daughter, I remember it like it was yesterday. She wanted some M&Ms.
Okay. And Allie said no?
Allie said no. I was like, okay, Allie. But normally Allie would get it for her and spoil her.
Okay.
And so this was late at night, though. So she's like, no, you can't have them. Her daughter laid on the floor, kicking and screaming.
In Walmart.
All
right.
Everybody, well, there wasn't that many people, but people were staring. I was like, oh, goodness. So we put her in the car. She's still screaming, kicking our seats, going nuts. And then I was like, all right, I had enough of this. I turned around and I said, that's enough. And she was like, and I was like, you're not going to be disrespectful like that anymore. You're not getting those M&Ms. And she was like, so after that, every time Savannah act up, she's like, I'm going to call Aunt Frances.
Allie would say that. And then that would help.
But Savannah used to like beat up Lexi. And Lexi was so sweet and loving.
Now look at Savannah.
She's a mommy of two.
Mommy of two. So there you go. But Savannah was a lot younger when she was. So it's not the teenager.
That happened when she was probably 2.5.
Yeah, I wonder what happens though. I was gonna say so you really don't know if a kid is rebellious or baby, how they're gonna turn out. Joe
was something.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if JoJo was first, there's a chance I wouldn't have had any more kids. And now look at her.
You would have kept asking for more and more and
she
more.
She was tough. Maggie says, I don't believe in spanking. Why is it okay to spank a growing child? But if you hit a growing adult, you go to jail. That's a good point. It's a very good point.
You got a good point.
Can't argue with that, Maggie. Can't argue with that at all.
Yeah. I feel like times are changing. And and our older kids may be like, oh, you would have never let us get away with that. But you also grow as a person as you get older, and you have more patience, you're calmer. So you're like, all right, let's talk about this instead of just.
I also think you become more mentally aware of
the damage too.
Of everything.
Yeah.
So you learn that there's more than just one route to get to the promised land. And I don't want to ever, judge. I got whooped. I know back in the day, people got whooped left and right. And I feel we're going the right way and it's slowing down, thankfully. But some cultures believe, and I still kind of believe
I think each to their own, as long as you're not beating the child.
Correct. There's a whole nother layer of beating a child.
That's not.
But some people have the mindset, if I don't discipline this child, the police or someone out there will, and I don't know if it can.
When
be
you're
done.
Raised in a rough neighborhood, that's how we were raised. It's like, I'm going to show you so the cops don't have to show you, or the system doesn't have to show you.
That's a very common thing.
It's more for their safety too. You don't want your kid out there acting crazy, because when you're in from a rougher neighborhood, so many more things can happen.
It's all look, and I'm not an expert at this at all. But what I can say, I think it's challenging, because some kids may say they feel trauma and mentally scarred from a whooping. I got whooped, and truthfully, I'm happy I got whooped. Whenever I got whooped, I deserved it. I don't blame my parents. I don't remember every time I got whooped, but For me, it taught me a lesson. I didn't dislike them any more or less. I've never gotten in trouble with the legal system. What would you say
I
that?
guess, yeah.
I never got in trouble with the law. Let's just say it that way. And but what the key thing is, and then we'll move on, was what Franny say. There's a difference between beating and whooping, and beating is never okay. I've never been hit in the face. I've never been hit really on the front side of any part of my body. So there's a difference. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, there is a difference.
Nia says some kids even bold enough to hit you back or give you an attitude after the whooping. See that that is bold.
Okay, the old Franny may come out if that happens, because
that is something that
no.
I would never do.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I don't think my kids would ever.
That would be like
try
just
hitting me.
I think the old person would come out, and I wouldn't even be able to stop that person.
I've never had a shoe thrown at me, Desi.
Oh, I have. A chancla, anything that was near.
Really?
Oh yeah. It didn't matter.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just learn how to duck, though.
Well, Lisa said when my daughter was around 6, she was sassy, all caps, and says I would swat her on the butt. She would look at me and say with a smile, "That didn't hurt." She's 29 now and fully admits to being sassy.
Joe used to do that.
Really?
Oh yeah. I tell Joe, you're gonna get a spanking. And she would just sit there, and I'm like, "Do you want a spanking?" She would be like, "Yes," just so she didn't have to do timeout. And so I'd give her one on her butt. She didn't care. She did not care. I was like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna have to try something different." So I would constantly put her back in timeout over and over again because she would keep getting up. She was not fearful.
I really like this comment from Sarah. Sarah says, most of us got spanked, but right now I don't believe spanking explains the reason of punishment to the child. It's an outlet to release parental frustration. Part of it is primal dominance, mixed feelings. That's interesting. Go ahead, Freddie.
I agree with this to an extent. I do. Like I said, I feel like as you know better, you do better, and I feel like that's where what we've tried to do. Again, there's a difference between like your kid spilling milk or something, and that does not deserve punishment. That's an accident. But if it's something severe,
so if your kid stole something from or bullied a kid or
like I don't even know if I would like spank now. Honestly, I really don't. It's been so long.
Yeah, I think we're just at a point where we feel we can mentally try to encourage them to make better choices than to just. So I've never felt the primal dominance. Not saying that's not true, Sarah, but I've never felt like, even when I got spanked or when I did some spanking, I never felt like this person's trying to show me that they're stronger than me. I never felt that, and I never had that intention. But what I can say is I always felt like there was discipline in it, and I always saw it more from a disciplinary position. That this person, my father, mother, their job is to make sure I'm disciplined, and for me as a parent, my job is to make sure my kids are disciplined. So I agree with everything. And I'm not saying that's not always the case. I think for some people it is primal dominance. Some people who just whoop to whoop or just love it or just overdo it. There may be all that, but for me, I never experienced that and never felt that. For me,
yeah, I feel like whooping and spanking are two different things. I did not grow up with the word spank.
Yeah,
I'm a whoop, yo. You know what is what I grew up, and whooping is worse than a spanking.
Sierra says, really?
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't know if I've ever gotten whooped then. I think I've just gotten
spankings. A spanking is like with your hand and it's on the butt and it's,
That's like a pat. The way you're making it sound nice.
A whooping is like a whooping. Okay. If you've been hit with the belt, that's a whooping.
Oh, I've been hit with the belt.
Okay, that's a whooping.
Okay. Sierra says, LOL, I can't imagine this JoJo you speak of. She's so sweet and cute. Trust me, Sierra, I don't know how it happened.
Girl, she was the one. I was like,
as sweet and cute as she is now is how tough she was as a baby.
I don't even think you remember the first 2 years.
I remember.
You ran so much.
I remember.
You
So
ran
this
away.
is not cool. Carrie's Gardner says, was hitting kids ever a school thing in schools in the U.S.? I can't believe that was a thing here in the U.K.
Absolutely. I think you can still do it in Texas.
I think in some states, Carrie, you could still do it.
It was called licks where I went to school. I got it twice.
You got licks from a teacher?
Oh, yeah. Once from a principal, because my mom took me to the school and made sure I got it. And then once from an art teacher, because the class was acting up, never me, because I was always a good student and just quiet. But no, he lined everyone up outside the hallway and we all got a lick and had to, go sit down. And everybody was quiet after that.
Bomby says they made you get a Switch. How are they going to make you partake in your own suffering? What a scam. Yes, I got it too. Hard to believe, given I'm a delight. Bomby, you're the perfect example.
I think it's just some cultures, though.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, I'm going to show you how to be a good human. And this is where it starts, at home.
Teresa says, my parents would say, this hurts me more than it hurts you. My young brain was like, how? That's a funny comment.
But it is true. And Teresa, I'm sure you know that now. Like, it hurts my heart. It's hard to do. It is hard to do.
The Movie Raider says, I've heard physical, with the super chat, by the way. Thank you, the Movie Raider. I've heard physical discipline is advised against because it teaches the kids that when they face challenges, it's okay to react physically violently to get their way. Now, the Movie Raider, this is, by the way, fruit snack sounds so good.
You know what? I haven't even eaten today. You can't be mentioning food right now.
The Movie Raider, this is something I definitely agree with. And this is probably why that's something I don't do anymore. I have given licks, but I haven't done it in a long time because of this. I feel like it can teach kids.
It can, but it didn't do that for me.
It didn't do
that
me.
For you either.
It didn't do it for me either.
I never was like, I can't believe my parents hit me. Look, I mean, and I didn't just get hit. My mom,
it's so
she
interesting.
didn't play, but we respected her with everything.
I honestly think it's the way the kid interprets it.
And I feel like,
because I never felt like, because I've gotten spanked, you guys, trust me. I've never felt like I'm not the kind of guy that's going to get in a fight. I'm not a physical aggressive person at all. And I've gotten whooped more than, I'm going to say, more than half of you out there. I know some of you like, not more than me. But I definitely got my share of licks. But I don't know. So it's interesting because I do understand this and agree how it can happen to some, but I think for many others it doesn't, because I don't feel I'm any more physically aggressive. It's something I feel like I can make the argument I'm not because of. I don't know.
I just feel like there's a way for us to teach the respect aspect without aggression. There is a way. I feel like these kids, we're kind of doing it differently with the last three.
Desi says, I think strict parenting is unhealthy, though sometimes some of those kids grow up with trauma. That's true.
Yeah.
It's a fine line, Desi, and I think today we need to make sure we're communicating with our kids more than ever. And a lot of this, I think, can be done with a talk. That doesn't mean it's going to fix it right there or as quickly or as efficiently as whooping may, but it's going to be more beneficial, likely long term. I'm not a doctor. I'm sure you can have so many professionals that would say 100%, and there's probably truth in that. I'm just going off of my experience. I think that more important than anything is for your kids to be able to feel they can open up to you and talk to you about anything. That's the important thing. And I did feel that way with my mom and dad, especially my mother. I felt like I can tell her pretty much anything, even though she gave me licks. That doesn't, like I said, I think when you can own your own mistakes and you have enough respect for your parents, because who am I to judge them when that's all they know?
Mm-hmm.
That's another mindset I have. It's what they knew. It's what they grew up with.
It was accepted. And I feel like we weren't whooped as bad as they were. I feel like
no way.
They got it way worse than we did.
100%. G. Sawyer says, I had a female teacher who loved to pinch the inside of my arm. I found that quite abusive compared to ruler on knuckles. Ruler on
Oh,
knuckles. Woo!
yeah, my mom used to get that because
Really?
she
So you'd
she
have to
was in a
stand there
Catholic
with your
home.
hand on the desks,
Yeah,
and
and
they
they would.
take a ruler and slap your
Yeah.
knuckles.
Hmm.
Wow. See what I mean? It's like if that's how you're growing up, how am I supposed to judge you that you're gonna spank me? It's like that's what you grew up with. You know, it's hard for me to judge that. Maybe because I have a long term view on things, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it, but I think that ability to see it from their side helped me get through any kind of trauma, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
and not to have that trauma. Our lovely Dion.
Miss
Dion says,
Dion.
"Hey, handsome and gorgeous. I miss you two bunches. TJ, you're looking awesome. My girl, you are beautiful as always."
Aw,
That's so
that's so
sweet.
sweet, Dion. Look at her picture.
I would love to hear.
She changed it.
I would love to hear Dion's perspective on all this.
I remember that hairstyle, Dion.
Do you?
Yep.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Carol says, TJ, who got the most spanking out of your brothers? This is a good question. Carol, I think I got the least because as the youngest, I think you often get the least. You parents are usually tired. I mean, Rio's gotten the least. I don't even know if Rio's gotten really any. Maybe one.
Not serious. But
Not
see,
as
that's
serious.
another kid where I feel like, it would like hurt his heart.
Hmm.
You know,
Anyways,
he takes that in.
I got the least, Carol. I'm gonna guess Taj probably got the most, and maybe Tara, but I would say Taj. Youngest, first grandson, my father's. You know, Joe Jackson's probably 40-something years old at that point.
He probably got it from all sides.
I'm curious to
and
know.
then your uncle's probably like, no. Your Uncle Michael.
I'm curious to know, but like. I haven't talked about this with Taj about whether he does it, but I don't know. I don't want to put.
He seems like he was a really good kid, so I don't know if he.
Taj was a good kid.
Yeah,
very good kid. Melanine, am I saying that right? Melanin says, "I believe in whoopings, but I believe in taking away luxuries. I'm 28 and never been arrested and was raised by a single mother." Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Tell it.
I do feel like Rio. He did something. I can't remember what it was. And I'm like, I'm going to give you a choice because I wanted to see what he was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you're either going to get a spanking or I'm going to take your iPad away for a couple of days. He's like, I would just rather get a spanking. Yeah. He said that.
Well,
but is that because he never really had one?
That's exactly, trust me, that's exactly why. Dion came back with us, says, great advice. Whipping concepts came from slavery here in the U.S.
You know what? And Dion can probably relate to this. You spank your kids, but I could never see myself spanking my grandkids or even like disciplining them. I would, if it's dangerous or something like that. But for the most part, I'm just here to let them have fun.
It's interesting too, Dion. I wonder if this is why it's more prevalent in Black culture. Whoopings, and I wonder if it was a thing to keep them in a way safe from misstepping or that could have mortal consequences.
I'm gonna tell you, I never seen a whooping until I was at a friend's house who happened to be Black, and I was like, okay, they do it different, because I could not believe. I was like in my mind praying for her mom to stop the spanking. I felt bad for the child. Probably 9.
And what do you remember what she did?
I don't. But it was awful. It was awful. It was a Black mom and my friend, and oof.
See, but that's what I'm saying. I
was like, okay, I've never been spanked like this. That's a whooping.
And she probably got it more so than even she delivered it to her daughter.
And I think it was something simple.
See, but that's where I'm happy you chimed in, Dion. By the way, Melissa says, I ain't spanking my grandbabies. Forget it. I think we all agree with that.
I agree, Melissa.
But Dion, I think and I don't know this. I'm not an expert. I wish I would have known this was going to be the primary topic and we could have done some research. But I feel like it was a way for Black people to make sure their kids did not make a mistake that could end up having them in jail for life or killed.
Yep.
In our racist society. So I can see why it's more prevalent in the Black culture, and again, I'm hoping in time it dissipates and it doesn't become a thing, because I do think at this age there's less need for it. Not saying all instances, because some instances there may be it. Like, look, I've been in places where kids are so bad, it's like.
Mm. That happened the other day at breakfast. I was like, "Ooh, who's gonna get this child?"
So I don't know. The movie Raider with the super chat. Thank you again. The movie Raider says, TJ, was Papa T really ever strict? He comes off as so chill and cool in his interviews. I can't imagine him getting mad. My father's tough. He's an amazing person. And this is another thing. I'm happy you're asking this question, movie Raider, because for my father to get to the point you're describing that you don't know about, there is a point. I think we all kind of can get to a point like that. You had to mess up. You had to do something so wrong that it warranted it. And when you get to that point where you're doing something so wrong, you got to deal with the consequences. That was always my mindset. You knew, it's not like that you weren't warned, so like I got my warnings, and if I still did something stupid, then I would get a lick for it. And
yeah,
again, I'm not saying I suggest for anyone watching this to do the same thing, but especially at that time, I never had any mental issues from it. Not saying anyone else may not. Everyone is different. Maybe it's because of the talk I got before or after it. I don't know. But for me, it didn't. I honestly feel it actually made me a stronger person and more. Like I said, I've never been anywhere close in trouble with law. I've never had the inkling to take something or to do something or to disrespect someone. I really haven't.
I wouldn't change anything.
But anyways, yes, he was pretty strict. Not crazy strict, but my father was strict. My father was a Black father in the early 80s. So that's the best answer I can give. DeJassy 45 says, hello everyone. I never had to spank my kids. I always let them know that they can talk to me about anything that was on their minds. This is a cool concept, because I think this is interesting. I think there's a relationship between, and I want you to tell me if you agree with it or disagree with it, where people think that if you spank your kids, then they're blocking off their ability to talk to you or open up to you.
Right.
And I don't know if I necessarily feel that.
I do think, because look, if that's all you're doing is, disciplining all the time and there's not really a balance, then that can close off the child's mind to be able to trust you.
So I think it's based on fear.
Yes.
If a kid is fearing you because they're getting overly whooped, then they may not trust you. But in my cases,
but respect doesn't have to be fear.
But when I got whooped, it wasn't fearing my parents like they were crazy. It was more fearing the punishment that I deserve. So it's on me.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
You're making sense.
I think when we get too excited and overdo it, that's where we can have this issue. But I'm happy, DeJassy, that it seems like all has worked out well for you. And some kids are just going to be like that. They don't need, some of our kids, you tell them not to do something, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So then you get accused of having favorites. Well, it's like, it's not that I have favorites. It's just
this kid didn't really need it.
They didn't piss me off, so I was never mad at them. So I was always happy around them. G Sawyer says there used to be a saying, to beat the living daylights out of you. Oh, goodness.
Oh yeah.
The Weird says, I can't imagine TJ spanking his kids. It's so foreign to me to even think of how that would go down. Yeah, The Weird, I've chilled out a lot. I mean, I don't want to make it seem like I was Joe Jackson. Well, why are you saying
Yeah. We had talks.
Rest in peace, Grandpa. I love you.
We had talks on
who had talks?
Me and you on what's acceptable, what's not.
Yeah, and here's another thing: boys and girls got different type of treatment. Like I've never spanked our girls.
You may have like swatted them on the butt, but it wasn't.
I don't think so, because then I start thinking.
According to Joe, when she was 4, something happened. I was like, well, what? Because I don't even remember that.
Where I spanked her?
Yeah.
She's dramatic. I promise you.
She is dramatic.
You know why? Because I've always felt I did not want to teach my daughter that any man or male can ever put their hands on her.
That's what we talked about.
And so I never,
If
even
it
if they're
came to
wrong, I would say
spanking,
you need to do something
I
because
will do it
I don't
to the
want
girls.
any of my girls to think there's ever an occasion where a man can put their hands on them.
Yep.
So I
We
really
had that
don't think I
talk
have.
early on.
Ooh, this is very interesting. Dion says the word cracker came from the old overseer who used the whip keeping slaves in line. We had to say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. My mother never said to us, wait till your father gets home.
Mm.
Teresa says,
Interesting,
let's face it,
Dion.
all kids are not the same. Some kids need their butt spanked and some don't.
That's true, Teresa.
So there you go. I mean,
That's true.
it's so interesting how this all this plays out. Anything else you want to say, Francis, before we talked
I
about
mean, I know.
Jeez.
This whole conversation was about
Salida.
whoopings.
I like this name, by the way. Salida, we haven't heard from Salida before, right?
I don't think so.
Lovely
It's a
name.
nice name, yeah.
In today's society where authorities can get involved, I'm afraid to give my daughters spankings, even though that's how I was raised. Yeah.
You know, people get in your business now. I think a little too much now because I truly believe that, you know, a parent should decide how they want to raise their child. And it's not my business unless the child is in danger and it's overboard. But I feel like most of the parents, majority of parents, do not want to harm their child.
I think the vast majority of parents don't want to harm their child.
Yeah.
The vast majority. I would
Yeah.
hope. And sometimes us as kids, we don't understand that. And I don't know. I don't want to go down that because I didn't grow up in everyone else's shoes. So I don't like saying that.
Yeah.
But this is a challenge, Salita. And it's again, I'd rather be going this way than the other way, where we're being more cautious than too loose, because kids don't.
Well, they teach the kids in school now.
And again, to remind people, a beating is never okay.
No.
That's not what any of us are ever trying to say.
No.
None of us, not even those who are watching. I don't think anyone wants.
I'm just saying I wouldn't take my beatings away that I got as a child. I felt like my mom never did it just because she was angry or, it was always a reason for it. And there wasn't a ton. Because once we knew my mama didn't play, we didn't cross that line.
And Sabina says punishments differ over the generations. So true. My grandmother had the cat o' nine tails. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is.
Thank goodness those days are over. Regardless what it is, it's something serious. Because Sabina said, "Thank goodness those days are over." And I think we are, like I said, we are going the right way, which is a good thing. Sierra says, I love y'all. LOL. Great combo. Have the best week. And tell Rio my favorite Jackson. Good luck cleaning his room.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. Rio is something.
Funny.
He's funny. I could talk about everything with my parents, and they always told us that if we drink alcohol, we can still always come home. They wanted to get us home safely no matter what. That's great parenting.
I love that. That's a fine line where, I want my kids to know if they're ever in trouble, I will go and get you. Doesn't matter the time.
This is a question. Karen says, do you give them money a week? I guess allowance.
So Karen, we've been trying that. They haven't been so consistent. So, right now it's just about if Dee Dee wants to go to the movies or to boba. Like the other day, she wanted to hang out with her friend and go to a movie and get boba. I said, you're not going anywhere until you do the kitchen and the living room, because then that earns you enough money to do those things. And she did. She cleaned the kitchen and the living room.
It's so tough because when I was young, I got an allowance and I had chores, but I feel like society's moving so quickly and things are happening so fast. Maybe it's just my life or our life that it's hard to get ahead of it. But I don't like ever just giving our kids just money. Like
give whatever they want.
They gotta.
I actually saw a childhood therapist say the best thing you could do for your kids to be happy, responsible adults, is to give them chores.
Oh yeah.
He said that it has been proven, they've done studies, but it's like night and day for kids that have had to do chores and kids who haven't.
By the way, Nia says this is the most real conversation we've had on a live, and I must say I appreciate it. Getting all perspective, things like this help me keep an eye open, mind and heart. This was dope. Oh, that's so
Aw,
cool, Nia.
thank you, Nia.
Nia, that means a lot to us. And look, both of us truly believe parenting is this is why we have our channel. We want our kids to be the best, happiest, most productive people ever, more so than us. That is the goal, the intent, everything.
That's what if there's any young people on here, your parents truly do want the best for you. We want.
And so in a month, grounding may seem like forever to us today, but for them, that seems like they're being nice. So be respectful, and understand that like we've a lot of people have been saying, it's different generation, different times. So there you go. And never, and again, I want to repeat, never do I think anyone should be hit. A kid should be hit in the face, and really not even the front side of their body. I don't think that's cool at all. I really don't. Desi says, I want to know what cat o' nine tails.
It's at the bottom right
And
there.
Sabina says, a cat o' nine tail was a plated whip of leather with 8 plated tails coming off the main whip.
Which is where the switch came from, where you leave the leaves at the end. It stings more. So I know what she's talking about.
Sabina, I never heard of this.
It's like the leather strips and it's at the end. And when you smack it, it like has more of effect because it wraps around and it stings. I'm going to have to, you're going to have to take the little whipping with the switch, TJ. You said you would do it.
Tonight. I did say I'd do it tonight. No, I'm just yeah, no, okay. Okay, anything else we want to say? Yes, there's one more. There's one more I wanted to highlight. I'm sorry, Franny.
Don't worry.
Sorry. Give me a second. Janet, by the way, says, hello, TJ and Fran. Enjoy your lives. Happy birthday early, TJ.
Oh, thank you, Janet.
And Elle confirms for us, Norway is great for the Northern Lights. That's what it was called. Okay, and then we have this one. We'll end with this one. Alyssa says, hey, TJ and Francis, are you going to take the kids to watch Barbie? So this is a good question because I actually had no interest to see this movie at all. But some of the previews, they look like a half animation. I love animation movies. So I'll probably go see this one. I have that AMC stub pass. JoJo has it as well. So we could see 3 movies a week. We haven't been in almost a month.
We're going to see this.
So we will probably go see it. I don't know. Rio's not going to go. I don't know if Didi will go, but I think me, Fran, and maybe JoJo will do it, which is a cool thing to do.
I heard it's really good.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I did. I heard it's
From
good.
who? It's not even out yet.
No, I've heard people say that it's really good.
From
and
who?
you actually even said it too.
I haven't seen it.
No, you were reading something on Yahoo or something like that. Or maybe you said this looks good. I think I may go see this.
Time out. Mission Impossible, I heard was really good. Okay.
It was.
I haven't commented on Barbie. I may have said I actually want to see this.
Maybe
I may have said that. But yeah. Either way, the one final takeaway I want to say is that one thing I've learned as a parent to multiple children, that I think if you're a parent to multiple children, is to do things with them one-on-one. It's a really cool way for them to build memories, is doing things with your kids one-on-one. So I say all this is because for JoJo, like I said, I love movies. She loves movies. So that's kind of our little thing, is to go to see movies. Rio, we like to build Legos. I've been slipping on it because I've been busy, but that's kind of our little thing. And then Didi, there was one thing that I'm forgetting.
Not guitar.
Oh, it is guitar. Thank you, Fran. Guitar. I'm looking at her guitar right there that she broke the string, and I got to help her put it together.
That's why I put it there, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, so you would remember.
There you go. By the way, I should just show this guitar.
You okay? Let me hold your chair down.
Hold my chair down, Franny. Hold my chair down, Franny.
You got it?
I got it.
All right.
So you guys probably remember my white guitar that I played on stage with 3T. It's now
Look at all the stickers on it.
No more will you see this being played. Maybe one day I'll play it. But this is now Didi's guitar.
Show what's at the top. This is what Didi does to everything. I love it. Dee Dee accessorizes all of her stuff.
So, but it's kind of mine and Dee Dee's thing. None of the other kids are playing an instrument like that. So I just want to suggest to anyone out there to try to, if you have multiple kids, especially to try to find that
It can
one
even
thing.
be something simple though, like taking them to lunch or something. It doesn't have to cost money.
Oleg is watching from Ukraine.
Oh,
So cool. Hi, Oleg.
Oleg.
And then final thing is a super chat from Bame. Bame says, I mean, both my parents were born in Nigeria, and it's common to whoop your kids there, so it could be a generational thing. I won't do that when I push out my own. So, you know what, though? And that's, first of all, I love it. That's completely...
it's up to you.
It's up to you. I'm curious to know if that will change now, but I hope you stay true to that. It's challenging. It's challenging. It's tough. Kids are tough. Kids are tough.
Ooh.
I think that's it though, Franny. Anything else you want to say?
That's it, babe.
You sure?
Yep.
You're done.
I can't wait to eat. That's what I want to say.
All right, I guess we are done, you guys. We're gonna wrap up. We love you all. Please be
What are you looking at?
No, just some other
I
comments.
see those smiles.
So cool. We love you guys so much. Please be safe. Enjoy your families. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys on Sunday. All right. Adios, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.